So the first day of the new year and the first sneak preview, and it's a very interesting movie. Like, I'm not sure how much of my understanding of the movie was intentional or it's just my interpretation. So that's why I'm a bit confused if this movie does what it wants to do or if I just interpret it in a way that I understand it. So, a basic plot summary, and there are no spoilers, this is all in the trailer. In the future, like 100, 200 years, it's never really clarified. Everything is run by technology, and including getting children. So women can get quote unquote pregnant within these eggs you can see in the trailer, and basically that is a fake uterus where the baby grows. So the leading character is very pro technology and wants to do it, and doesn't really discuss it with her husband, who is very pro nature. He like grows trees, and apparently in the future plants are very rare, so that's where the conflict lies. But they get this egg thing, and then the husband gets more attached to it. He likes the idea of the child, but the woman gets a bit sketchy because she can't bond with the child. Also, the ideas switch a bit, because in the beginning it is presented as something good. Women don't have to get pregnant anymore. And the same woman who says that pregnant women have always been mistreated then starts to mistreat this woman because she has this egg. So basically, what she says the society has done to women who get children, she does to women who get children. It's very interesting. Also, the idea that pregnant women and mothers get mistreated, I think, is more from an American point of view or comment on America, because in Europe, I think every single country has laws to protect pregnant women and mothers. I know that, for example, the mortality rate in the US is much higher with pregnant women and newborn babies than it is in Europe. So I'm guessing this is more a comment on the things are going in America. I could be wrong, but that's a point that doesn't really click with me, because I'm guessing I don't know people who like generally mistreat mothers or pregnant women. There are, of course, people who don't like it, yada yada yada, but in general they are very well protected by law and by society. In the course of the movie, the idea of this fake pregnancy also becomes a bit more sinister, because the same company who runs the pregnancy center also runs the education. This is made clear by a woman, like a character from Sweden, who says that in Sweden it's still the government that runs education, while in the US it's run by this company, like in the entire country apparently. And they decide what is good and what is bad. For example, they visit a art class, and it's not that children do art or learn about art. No, an AI creates art and children just commenting on it with the explanation that art is pretty much useless. The same goes for dreams. Like, one guy says that children born from these pots don't dream, and the company woman says, well, dreams are useless. They don't mean anything. So it is clear that this represents a battle between technology and nature, that humans get more away from nature, and nature not in like trees, but in natural things, like natural pregnancies. And instead of making the pregnancy better, with laws, with healthcare, what have you, they decided to outsource the pregnancy, which shows the corporate desire of this world. Like, everybody has to work, has to make money, has to be productive, and it's easier to invent technology that gets pregnant for you than create a world where pregnant women are protected. At least that's my interpretation. This is also why I kind of scored this like a 5 out of 10, because I'm not sure if that is really the point, because in the beginning it represents the entire idea as very positive for women, and at the end very negative. So I don't know if it's like a progression, because it's not made very clear, at least to me, if that is the idea behind it or it's just what I see in the movie. And either I fail to understand what the movie wants to say, which is my fault, fair enough, or the movie doesn't really communicate what it wants to communicate, which then is bad filmmaking. Overall, the movie isn't badly made. Like, the acting is okay, like, good old Daenerys never was the greatest actress, but she's okay. The husband, which the name I cannot pronounce, I tried from the actor, I cannot. He is basically the teacher of Doctor Strange. That's what I know him from in other movies. I think he's also the guy who was the leading character in 12 Years a Slave. I cannot pronounce his name, I'm sorry. But he is pretty good in this movie. And overall, the aesthetic is very slick. Like, it looks like what I imagine the headquarters of Apple looks like. That's the entire movie until the end where they go out in nature. So it is an interesting watch, I have to say. Like, if I could recommend it, I would say if you can see it like on Netflix or something, definitely watch it, just because I think it's something interesting to think about what the movie wants to tell you and the message as I understand it. So I would say you should watch it on Netflix, but for cinema, it's not that interesting, and also it's not clear what the movie wants. Maybe that's the point and I don't get it, in which case, okay. But the idea is interesting, just the way it is made leaves something to be desired.